What currently is the business climate or conditions in Africa?
Look, I think the reality is, Peter, with commodity prices being where they are, China's slowdown, IMF revising growth rates across emerging markets in general, but particularly our continent. I think naturally we're not immune to all of these things that are taking place. Some of our currencies got devalued quite a bit in the last 12 months. However, there is still genuine growth. So we as Mara and our businesses, such as our Bank Atlas Mara and other businesses, we're very bullish and excited that this is still a fantastic time to be active on our continent. And I think people need to realize, and now more than ever, that we're not a short-term win as a continent. You know, we're medium to long-term strategy. And people who have that medium to long-term mindset, we are the perfect investment destination as a continent.
So how is the Mara group of companies doing in Africa at the moment? How is it doing?
It's doing great. With God's grace, you know, there's been fantastic growth across the group in the various sectors. This year is a big year for Mara. We turned 20 years old in August, so it's going to be our 20-year anniversary. And to be perfectly honest, Peter, I think as cheesy as it sounds, I think we're just getting started as Mara.
As an investor, as somebody who comes from Africa, what are some of the challenges for investors from the continent as well as from the international community who invest in Africa?
I think, look, when you think about the macros of Africa, the fact that we have over 52 cities with over 1 million people, the fact that we've got a population of over 1 billion people, the fact that we've got over 700-800 million mobile phone users, the fact that we've got the most naturally rain-fed arable land in the world, all these facts are very compelling. People get too carried away with the theoretical side of us as a continent versus the practical. I'll give you an example. People would create a Southern African head office and put it in South Africa. Yet that person who's heading that Southern African office hasn't been to 4 of the 18 SADC countries. And that's where the theory gets carried away. And I think that is the challenge that African businesses, but more so global businesses, face.
So what do you think are the solutions to resolving this, to make Africa practical, pragmatic, to ensure its growth opportunity that you see, that you've worked under?
One country makes a mistake, the entire continent is generalized. 3 of our countries have Ebola and people stop traveling to the entire continent. It's this ignorance or lack of know-how that really hurts us as a continent and hurts the potential that these global companies have to participate in our growth. So I think what's important is we've got to tell our own story. We've got to change the narrative and make it more of one of reality. And it needs to become more realistic. People need to start paying attention to the real facts and not get carried away with certain headlines which don't give the real story.
Ashish, governments across Africa have always been said to have talked a good game, but have not implemented policies that will attract the private sector to invest or to partner with the private sector to improve the living conditions of the people. What do you think governments can do differently that will make the environment attractive enough for people to invest?
I think what needs to be done better, I think our borders need to open up quicker, because collectively as open markets we're a much bigger target than just individual countries. So regional integration does need to be fast-tracked. Free movement of people and goods, particularly goods, I think is a very important angle. Standardizing laws and policies as much as possible, but at the same time, you know, learning from the best examples, and that doesn't necessarily need to be from within our continent. Taking examples from other countries in Latin America or Asia that have done it very well.
In the next 5, 10, 15 years, what do you want to see in Africa happen?
My dream and our vision as the Mara Foundation is that I want to see a self-sustainable Africa. I've said it before. We don't need people to feel sorry for us. We don't need people's pity. We want to do business. We want investment. We want to do trade, and not necessarily aid.
Thank you very much, Ashish.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.